us because they are far. This is why we tell parents, sometimes you need to make sure your children live a little bit of a distance from you so that you can be even closer in relation. And I have seen in my life with lots of experience that those children who do not live with their parents are sometimes closer in relation with their parents. They have a better understanding and they have a much better relation. And I am not promoting people to abandon their parents. No, you need never to abandon your parents. If you do that, you are sinful of the highest order. But what we are saying is, give each other your breathing space. Is very important. Give each other breathing space. Some women, they get married into homes where mother-in-law sits and dishes instruction. Right, today we will cook this. I'm inviting 20 people for lunch, 40 people for supper. Tomorrow morning, 60 people for breakfast. But hang on, man. I am one daughter-in-law here. We are a few people here. What's going on? If this happened once a while, it's okay. But you cannot just sit back and dish out instructions as though this is a restaurant. MashaAllah, if you really want, I have a friend who owns a restaurant known as Dine More down the road. Perhaps we can go there. MashaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us goodness. I had to mention that because, you know, there are a few restaurants we've been to here. MashaAllah, the cuisine is something else. So my brothers and sisters, I'm just thinking of it, probably the cooks are males, not females. Remember this. When you say food is very nice, a sharp woman would say, well, that's a male cook. Which means now let's eat here every other day. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us goodness. So the point being raised is be just, be fair, be balanced. You cannot keep it lopsided all along because you will have your children, they will grow up, they will get married. How do you like your daughter to be treated? Remember this. Remember, very important point. Then a very important point also is non-comparison in two angles. You want to live happily ever after, do not compare your marriage to someone else's. Perhaps they have bigger problems than yours which are hidden and you don't know. Don't compare your marriage. You look at your own condition. Are you happy? Is your situation okay? You are living in a hut, mashallah, you have a bedding on the floor and you are so excited, mashallah, the water is there, everything. The minute you see another man who has a beautiful home, you entered and there is a big bedding there with a lovely mattress and 5-6 continental pillows, mashallah, and this happens and that, and then you come back home and you are upset. Why? You know, those people are living so happily, man. Look at them. Why should you destroy your hut looking at the bungalow of somebody else? You are never going to get there. Allahu Akbar. You are not going to get there. So do not compare your marriage to others. You be happy with your situation. For as long as it is okay, you make the most of it. One day, if Allah wills, He will grant you even better. Ultimately, we go to Jannah. In Jannah, you get what you want. So comparison in terms of your marriage. Another thing, to compare children also reduces your chances of living happily ever after. You know, and you don't allow this to happen. The worst is when someone enters your home and starts comparing children. Or you yourself in front of your children. This one is very dark in complexion, this one is light in complexion. And the child is hearing. It's not their crime. It's Allah who chose that. And someone, this one is very clever, that one is thick. Thick. The way we say the word thick, it makes them feel thicker. It's a fact. Yes. People call their children stupid, dog, cow, pig. Allahu Akbar. How can you live happily ever after when what came out of your system is being called a pig and a dog and a cow? May Allah forgive us. Sometimes in our spur of anger, we utter words that result in the cursing of ourselves. And then we want to know why is it we are not living happily ever after. But brother, my sister, you are calling your son a dog. How could you do that? If your son is a dog, I don't want to ask what it makes you. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. My brothers and sisters, very important. Do not utter cutting remarks, calling people names in your own house. We are not even supposed to be doing that out of the house. So this is why we say non-comparison in marriage and non-comparison with children. And don't come and compare the children of one son with the children of another son, the children of one wife with the children of another wife. That is haram. Each one has their own speciality. Who knows, when they grow up it might swap. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us goodness. May He open our doors. Sometimes we make mistakes because of our human weakness. And we come about, we want to start comparing children. You know, my son, that son has very good children, you know, and this one here, his children are unruly and so on. Stop saying that. Raise your hands and make a dua to Allah, or get to the ground and start resolving the matter by trying your best to speak and communicate with the children and seeing what is happening. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. I touched a little bit here on the issue of a man who has two wives and he compares the children of either wife, and he tells each wife, for example, you know what, you know nothing, that one knows too much, and this one knows this and that one. Wallahi, it's a big error. And this is why we say today we need to address the issue of polygamy, not because we want to promote it or demote it, but because it is happening in society. Remember this. The difficulty is not that people do not like polygamy or disagree with it. It is more to do with the way it is done and how people do it. So now you have people who keep it a big secret, and after 4 years it pops up, you know, like bread coming out of the toaster and it's burnt. Allahu Akbar. And then you expect things to live rosy, and you go to make your wife feel like a non-Muslim, you know, to say, you know what, if you do not accept this, then you are not in Islam. Allahu Akbar. What is this? My brothers, you need to be reasonable. These are human beings you are dealing with, not animals. They have feelings, they have a heart. You need to talk to them. You need to make them feel wanted. You need to make sure, if you are from amongst those who has more than one spouse, you need to make them feel equally important. You need to go out of your way to build that love with either spouse, if more than one or two, because we are Muslimin, because it happens in our society. You would really be serving yourself the death blow if you had to prefer one over the other in terms of the statements that you make to them, or being unfair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us. Really, you are not allowed to go out to one and to make her feel that she is so low and cheap compared to the other. Why? That is haram, forbidden. Perhaps the one who gave you children first, the one whom you were married to right at the beginning, perhaps that one may stand up for you the day you need it most. And at the same time, you may have benefit from the other, and perhaps the third, and perhaps the fourth.